Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. WWE Extreme Rules is this coming Sunday live on pay-per-view. You can check out the coverage at NoDQ.com, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can also submit questions to NoDQ&A video at formspring.me/AaronRift. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions. Alright, the first one today. What do you think about the article on WWE.com that suggests that Paul Heyman might be having a third client in the near future? To be honest, when I first saw that article, I thought that it was just another article by WWE.com to generate hits and get traffic to the website. I didn't really think much of it, but now that I've given it some extra thought and people have been talking about it, it's actually gotten quite a bit of buzz on the internet, people talking about a third client. I actually think WWE should go with it. I think that a number of guys could really benefit from having Paul Heyman as a backer and having him as a mouthpiece. You know, I've seen a lot of names thrown out there. Some people have mentioned RVD. I highly doubt that RVD would be involved here in this situation because if RVD comes back to WWE, he's clearly going to be a babyface, and you know, you can't have that and have Paul Heyman be your manager. So I think that RVD is almost certainly not going to happen. And you know, I think it would be best to have somebody who's an up-and-coming superstar, somebody who you're grooming towards the future. You know, maybe it's too bad that you have Dean Ambrose involved with the Shield right now, because I think he would be perfect with Paul Heyman. But you know, I think that Dean Ambrose will stay involved with the Shield, and you know, I think that that's unlikely. But you know, maybe Antonio Cesaro, maybe somebody like Wade Barrett. I mean, there's so many guys. Maybe bring up somebody from developmental. Maybe Chris Hero. I mean, he would be a great fit for Paul Heyman. So there's a lot of different ways you can go, and I mean, of course, they could always have Ryback be the guy, but you know, I think a lot of people would be disappointed if it ended up being Ryback. So, you know, I think it would be cool to bring in somebody totally new and push them right to the top with Paul Heyman by their side. Somebody like Chris Hero, I think, would be your best bet. All right, this one comes from Showstopper526. Hey, Aaron, big fan. Thanks for that. What did you think of Josh Matthews' random rant on Smackdown? I thought it was hilarious. For those of you that missed it, Josh Matthews basically just ripped into Michael Cole, totally random on SmackDown for like 40 seconds during a match, and he made a comparison, you know, Michael Cole sucking up to John Cena all the time the same way that Jim Ross used to suck up to Stone Cold all the time, and then he did the Stone Cold thing. I actually thought it was really entertaining, and it was surprising because I wasn't expecting to hear something like that from Josh Matthews. He's always the squeaky clean babyface announcer, and to have him do that out of nowhere, I mean, I thought it was kind of cool, and you know, maybe WWE will do more of that kind of stuff with him. I mean, I think that WWE really needs a good heel announcer right now. There are real no heel announcers. You have JBL, who's kind of like a tweener, but he doesn't really go on one side completely. And then you have Jerry Lawler, who used to be a great heel announcer, but now he's just, you know, basically a second play-by-play guy. So it would be cool to have more Josh Matthews moments and maybe experiment and try to give him a heel run and see how it goes. All right, next question here comes from Rachel Ward WV. Aaron, I was wondering if you know what's going on with Wade Barrett. In the last 6 weeks, his TV appearances have been more and more sporadic, and now I'm lucky to see him once every 2 weeks. Who did he piss off, and is he on the same shit list as Cesaro? You know, I also got another question here, so I'll mention this one first, from S2 Charisma. Do you think that Antonio Cesaro is, quote, boring, or is that just an excuse for WWE afraid to push him to the top? I think that Antonio Cesaro is a great wrestler, and I mean, he had a really good match with Kofi Kingston on Main Event a few weeks ago, so I mean, he can really deliver in the ring. But I do agree that his personality could use some work. He's a little bit plain, and you know, I don't think the yodeling stuff did him any favors. I think trying to give him some character by having him do the yodeling did him more damage than good. I think you just need to keep pushing him. Just let him be himself. Let him take his own personality and turn up the volume. I mean, that's what works best for a lot of these guys. You know, that's what worked for Steve Austin and countless other people. Just let them be themselves with the volume turned up. And, you know, WWE should go all the way with him. I mean, he's got a great look to him, and he's a great wrestler. So, I mean, I think WWE will at some point start pushing him again. And, you know, I do think he does need a little bit of work on his character. And as far as Wade Barrett goes, I haven't heard anything about Wade Barrett being in trouble with WWE. It's just a matter of being patient. You know, WWE pushes a certain amount of guys, and then other guys are just on the back burner for the time being. I think that at some point WWE will probably try pushing Wade Barrett again and giving him a renewed push. But you know, right now they're not really doing anything with him, and that's unfortunate for him. I think he could use a little bit of a repackage. I mean, at the very least, get rid of that theme song. He desperately needs a new entrance theme, in my opinion. I think it's terrible. And, you know, as I mentioned earlier, maybe him being with Paul Heyman could do a lot for him. I mean, that alone, I think, would help put him over the top. I mean, a lot of people could benefit from having Paul Heyman with him. All right, let's see what else we got here. And unfortunately, I got an airplane flying over, so bear with me here. All right, next one is from AJAT800. Hey Aaron, I feel what's really hurting WWE in the TV ratings and pay-per-view revenue is the PG era, and today's audience aren't into the safer, clean image and prefer the Attitude Era to make a comeback. Your thoughts, please answer in NoDQ&A video. I don't really feel that it matters if WWE is PG or TV-14. You can have a great story. You can have great storytelling without having to, you know, be TV-14 and have all the profanity and all the excessive violence. I mean, it's not really necessary. I mean, look at Disney. Disney is rated G, and they tell great stories, and they have, you know, critically acclaimed movies. So it's all a matter of having good writing and logical storylines and interesting characters that you care about and want to pay money to see. I mean, that's the bottom line. That you know, it might help a little bit, and I do think that WWE goes overboard with the PG rating sometimes. I like to see blood every now and then. You know, if you're watching wrestling, you're watching a physical confrontation between the two guys, you're going to expect to see somebody get busted open. I mean, it's just something that would naturally happen if they were having a real fight. So I don't see a problem with having blood every now and then, and I wish WWE would let up on that rule a little bit and have some blood every once in a while. And, you know, they do have profanity every now and then. They'll say ass, or, you know, Triple H said bitch on Raw. So, I mean, they still have a little bit of profanity. You know, they just toned it down a little bit. And I think that was good because, you know, too much of anything is not good. You don't want to, on one hand, you don't want to go overkill. You don't want to go in the other direction. I remember, like, 2002, like every week on Raw, somebody was getting busted open, and that was way overkill. That was unnecessary. And you know, the blood works better when it's done at the right time. When you pick your spot to have blood, it'll mean more. You know, you don't want to see guys going through tables every single week. I mean, if they do it once in a while, it's something special. When you do it every week, it's all of a sudden doesn't become special. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, last question today from BHinder1. Hey Aaron, great show. What did you think of the Austin Aries and Christy Hemme incident? Is it real or is it a work? Well, I believe that it is a work. I haven't heard anything, or excuse me, I believe that it is real. I haven't heard anything about it being a work. I think that it could be turned into a work now at some point. My thoughts on the situation is I don't really feel that Austin Aries was out of line. I think he was just playing the heel role, and he was just kind of improvising. Christy Hemme made a mistake, and you know, I think Austin Aries was just doing what his heel character would have done. And you know, he backed her into the corner. He stood up there. He didn't like go all the way, putting his crotch in her face. But you know what? If she was uncomfortable with it, then he should apologize to her if he hasn't already. You know, I think that if that really did upset her, he should have apologized. And you know, that's it. Just let it go. I think that it did get blown a bit out of proportion, and you know, fining him or whatever. I think that that's overdoing it a little bit, and certainly don't fire the guy because of this. You know, I think it could have been worse, but I think that he was just doing what he felt was just being in character and doing that. And, you know, sometimes unplanned things happen and things are improvised. I mean, that's just how the wrestling business goes. It's not going to be totally scripted 100% of the time. So Christy Hemme, I think the professional way to go would just to accept the apology and move on, and I'm sure that's what's going to happen here. I think that this will blow over, and it's not going to be a long-term issue in TNA. But the thing I find interesting is that TNA waited so long to announce this. Like it's weird because it aired live on Thursday, and then it wasn't really talked about until Tuesday, and all of a sudden it became this huge news story. So I thought that was weird. And like I said earlier, I think that it is a possibility they'll try to turn this into a work, knowing how TNA operates and just how wrestling companies in general, they like to take real life situations and turn them into storylines. So they might end up turning it into a work. Who knows? All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Keep subscribing. We are getting closer and closer to 30,000 subscribers, so keep spreading the word. I appreciate all the support. Tell a friend on Facebook or Twitter, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in WWE and TNA. See you next time.